Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am sorry I did not get a video up on Monday of this week. I was traveling and honestly I couldn't get it done in time. I have been absolutely swamped. It was a weekend that was much needed and now I'm back into the stressful everyday life. So I am going to start back up on my normal, regularly scheduled programming, but I just didn't have one up on Monday. Today I actually wanted to do an installment of my makeup artist series. I know I haven't done anything for this in a long time and I truly do apologize because I know a lot of y'all specifically ask for these videos over and over, and I know a lot of y'all don't care about these videos because you may not be in the trade, you may not find them interesting, and that's okay. But for those of you who have been asking, and because I did start this series, I did want to continue on with this installment. And this I'm going to be talking about not so much products. I'll probably talk about a couple of products, but these are mainly things that help me stay efficient in my work. They help me go faster in my work because if you don't know, as a bridal makeup artist, which is predominantly what I am, the more you can do, the more money you make. So if I can do 8 faces in the allotted time versus 5 faces because I found a way to streamline things and make things go faster and more organized, then I'm going to do the 8 faces. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to do the 8 faces. So this is what I have found throughout the years as to things that help me do just that. So let's go ahead and get started. I will, to the best of my ability, link everything down below that I can. There may be some things that I can't find the specific ones, but you'll get the gist. So the first thing that I highly recommend is a good bag. Now I'm not just talking like a makeup bag. I'm talking about a bag. Now I have had so many bags over the course of the years. I have had a Zuka bag. I have had a MAC travel case. I have had, what's that one called? I did a whole video on it like a couple years ago. Like the flat, I don't know what it's called. I've had that one. I have had the Zuka Backpack. And I have what I currently use. Now the Zuka Backpack is something that I carry. I like it because it is an actual backpack and I can have my other 2 hands to carry other necessary things. Now my actual bag is a suitcase. It's not just any suitcase, although I find no issues with people using suitcases. A ton of artists will do that. I find that the Zuka a couple things. It wasn't quite big enough for me, and it started to tear up after about 2 years. And when I called the manufacturer, they said, oh, well, the guarantee is actually only on the metal piece. So if the fabric is torn up, I think it was going to cost like $90 to replace the fabric. And I'm like, I might as well buy a new bag. So the Zuka was retired and I have since been using the Burton Suitcases. So Burton is actually a snowboarding company. And they cater to more of that group, but there's no rule that says you can't use a snowboarding suitcase for makeup. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut into a little segment of me showing you that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so hopefully it's not too dark in here, but this is my bag. Come over here. So it has these little hooks on it. I've already taken those off. And so you see it's Burton, what does it say? Durable goods on it. So you open the bag like this. All right, so just really quick, just because I'm not showing you exactly what's in it. I'm just showing you how it holds things. This pocket right here is all of my brushes. So all those sets of brushes are shoved down in this pocket. Okay, you can unzip this and flip it. So I keep my lashes, my palettes, some extra stuff right here, and then extra stuff right here. But I've got 3 bags in here. You've got this zipper right here that opens up. I've got all of my lip stuff here. This is that palette that I showed you. This is a little pouch I carry it in. These are all of my concealers. And then all of my powder products, blush, powder, bronzers. And then back here is all of my foundations. So you can see how much it holds. And then when I'm done, I zip it up. Turn it over, it's on wheels, it's got a handle, a removable handle. This is my Zuka backpack that I carry along with it. So these 2 things in my light are all I will take on a job. And it's way more than I need. I really need to condense my kit, but that is why it's so important to have such a good quality, super sturdy bag, which this Burton is. I cannot recommend the Burtons enough. All right, now that you've seen my bag of choice, we are going to start talking about the next most important thing, and that is lighting. I have worked with very well-known makeup artists in the Nashville area who come with no lights. And I don't know about your area, but around here, the old historic, like barn, farmhouse type venue is super popular. And I remember I went into a venue one time and there was this huge room and it had one light bulb in the middle of the ceiling of the huge room. Not one lamp, not one chandelier, one light bulb. And it was raining that day. If I had not have had my light, I would not have been able to work. So I started out a long time ago with a ring light. There's nothing wrong with that, but I do find sometimes the color can be a little yellow. And when you have a yellow light shining on your client, the makeup looks some way and then they get on in daylight and it can look a different way. So what I have found to be the very best of the best is something called the makeup light. But in all honesty, it's the best light ever. Vivian Baker is a very well-known film makeup artist in the industry, and she is married to a lighting specialist. They actually met on set, and she was complaining over and over about how she could not get the makeup to stay true to itself because of the lighting she was having to work with. So her husband was like, you know what? I can fix that. And he made the makeup light. It is 100% white light and it does not distort anything. The color that's in the palette is the color that will be on your model, and the color that's on your model or your bride will look the same in outdoor pictures as it will in indoor pictures, which is very important. So I highly suggest it. It is an investment. I get a discount, so I'm not sure how much it is full price, but I'm pretty sure the set is a little over $300. I actually have 2 of them. And I use them for everything. I take them traveling with me for personal use because they have a suction cup kind of attachment. And so I will suction that sucker onto hotel mirrors because, you know, hotel lighting is awful. And I don't have to worry about my lighting. So I take that with me everywhere. Everywhere. No questions asked. So let's start getting to actual things that I pack in my kit. Now, I know that this next thing I'm going to talk about is not something that a brand new artist is going to be able to get. And a lot of seasoned artists don't want to mess with it, and I get that. But because I love brushes so much, and I do believe that the tools are what makes the face, I like to carry separate sets of brushes. So I've probably already shown you the little pocket that I keep these in my Burton, but I'm just going to pull one of these out because I just got done washing them, so they're still in a Kroger sack. I need to put them back in my Burton. But I carry separate Ziploc bags full of brushes. So this is a set of brushes for me for a face. It has everything I would possibly need to get an entire face done. I don't always use all of the brushes. In fact, I rarely ever will use every brush in a set that I have, but I do live by the mantra, better safe than sorry, so I like to carry everything I could possibly need. It has the basics, lip brush, you know, basic eyeshadow brushes, powder brush, foundation brush, everything you would need. So I have this in this Ziploc. I have 2 large cups that I carry with me to every job. Before my first client even sits down in my chair, I get a set out. I put it in a cup, I'm ready to go. When that client is done, versus having to smell the whole place up with brush cleaner, which, I mean, I use a Cinema Secret, so it smells good, but still, and take, you know, up to 10 minutes in between clients, sometimes even 15, depending, and me not having to bring an assistant on, which I will in turn have to pay for doing something like this. I will then take all the dirty brushes, put them in a Kroger sack or grocery sack, whatever, take the clean brushes that were left over, put them back into the Ziploc, and I will roll them up in that Kroger sack and set them to the side. I will then get another brush set out, stick it in the cup, and move on. That way when I go home, I still have all the brush sets together, but I know which is dirty, which is clean. I wash them all, I put them all back in the Ziplocs, and I'm ready to go for my next job. This has cut down on time immensely. I'm talking at over an hour worth of time for a full bridal party in cleaning brushes. So if you are at a spot in your life where you can, you know, invest in some brushes, and I'm not saying you need to go buy Tom Ford. I like the BH Cosmetics brushes for something like this. You can get a whole set for like $25. And then of course, you know, you just add on as you accumulate more yourself. Or if you just have a ton of brushes and you don't know what to use them for, I highly suggest doing this. It just cuts down on so much time. So that is a huge efficiency time saver for me. Now let's talk about organization within your kit. I think everyone needs to have some kind of tackle / tool box situation going on in their kit. This is the one that I have. This is years old, y'all. This has lasted me forever. I think I got it at Walmart. I know you can get, I mean, you can get these everywhere. Walmart, Hobby Lobby, you find what works for you. I went through a couple of them before I found one that I actually liked the best, but this is what it holds in it. I've got my brush cleaner, my alcohol, hair clips, I've got tweezers, an extra mascara. In here I have my pencil sharpener and some cotton pads. And then over here is where I carry my disposables. So I actually have the Duo glue, which I like to use for individual lashes. And then down here I have my House of Lashes glues. I have my cotton swabs. I have my spoolies. And then here is what I'm going to talk about next individually. But this is what I use this for. I think this is absolutely a necessity for people that work on set, even if you work out of your house. You need something to where all your disposables, all your extras, all your tools can be situated in one space. And then when I'm done, you just pop it together, stick it in your kit. I carry this in my backpack and off you go. You're ready to leave or go on to the next job or whatever you're doing. Now, these are the one product within that toolkit that I do want to talk about because I find them to be indispensable in my kit and I just don't see them very much. These are the old school disposable eyeshadow applicators. The stuff that came in your CoverGirl eyeshadows. The stuff that your mama used to use. Like, that's what these are, and I find that I use them so often. I use them for a few different things. I will use them for eyeshadow. I find that they even sometimes with certain eyeshadows will pack better pigment than a finger will. I will use them to clean up under the eye because I now only use eye cream to clean up. So if I have fallout or if I want to sharpen, you know, an edge of an eye, I will take this into a little bit of eye cream and I will swipe it up and clean it while applying moisture at the same time. I find it works so well for that. I will use it to spot conceal with a concealer if I find that I don't have the right brush or I just don't have time to go searching through my cup for it. I will use it that way. I will use it to take off excess concealer under the eyes after it's set for a little bit. And I will use it with the next product I'm going to talk about, which I am going to talk about products in this sense because I really do think that if you are a makeup artist, especially a bridal makeup artist, this is a necessity in your kit. It is the Mehron Makeup Skin Prep Pro. This is a pre-makeup skin toner. I love to apply this with this, and you're probably thinking, why don't you use a cotton pad? And I will tell you, this is no joke. This is a stage makeup product. This is for theater. This is intense. And what it does is it stops oil and sweat from coming through your face at any given point of your face and at any given time. So if you do work under lights, if you are a bridal makeup artist in a very humid climate, which Tennessee is extremely humid in the summer, even in the winter, but you know, that's when you have to worry about sweat the most. Or if you have a super oily client. Now I'm talking the oils are breaking through by the time you get done with the face oily. Okay, that's the kind of oily I'm talking about. If she just says, oh, I get shiny throughout the day, this is not going to be the product for her. But the reason that I use these is because you only want to put this product where the sweat or oil accumulates the most on the face. So typically, if I sit down in a dead of the summer wedding, I will always ask, are you a sweater? And a lot of times they'll say, no, not really, just, you know, normal. And sometimes I can tell because they're already sweating when they get in my chair. And they'll be like, yes, you know, I sweat a lot from my upper lip, and most of the time it's upper lip and hairline are the two most prominent areas that people sweat. So I will take this. This has a little hole in the top. I will put a little bit on and I will literally dab it on the hairline and dab it on the upper lip. I am not putting this all over the face because A, it's not needed, and B, It can produce a tightening feeling, so you always like to tell your clients that to begin with. And C, it does not need, or it doesn't really function well or to its highest potential if you put any type of skincare under it or over it. So because I know I'm so into skin prep, I am not going to want to put this all over, because then I'm not going to be able to use moisturizer or primer or anything like that. Obviously, you can put foundation on top of it, but when it comes to actual skin prep products, it's best to stay clear of the areas that you apply this. So that is why I like to use these in combination, and then I will just kind of go around those areas and not touch them when I am doing my skin prep. I'm telling you, it's a must-have, and I just find that these work the very best to apply them. The next thing, you're probably going to be like, duh. But I'm going to talk about palettes. Palettes are a necessity. And I'm not necessarily talking about eyeshadow palettes or blush palettes or contour palettes or anything like that. I'm talking about palettes for your cream products, palettes for your foundation, palettes for your lipstick. So these are pre-made palettes that obviously you can just go into the store and buy. They are from MAC, and they are the Pro Conceal and Correct palettes. So I have 3 of them. They're the ones that have, you can see, 6 concealers and correctors within the palette. So this one is the, and they might be a little glittery because I just noticed as I pulled them out that one of my pigments had gotten all over the little pouch that I keep these in. This is the light palette. I also have the medium palette and the dark palette. So the dark palette, even if you're not working on dark skin tones, can also work for cream contouring if you choose. Love these palettes. I find that they can be sheared down to actually work as a foundation, but the concealing properties of them just can't be beat. I don't think they're talked about enough. They are not near as heavy as some people would assume a cream concealer is under the eyes. It is my go-to. It's between this and the NARS Soft Matte for spot concealing on the face. You just can't go wrong, and the fact that it has 2 corrector and brightener shades and 4 concealer shades in each palette in such a small container is, I think, a necessity to save space and time and increase efficiency of your work. So I love, love, love those. Other types of palettes that I'm talking about are, I always say this wrong, Vusette palettes? Vusette, I don't know. It's V-U-E-S-E-T. But they're palettes like, they look like this. They come in multiple sizes, multiple different sections of the palette. This is the one that has my cream shadows in it. So if you open it like that, so it has all of my cream shadows. It has liners, it has brow pomades, it has a corrector down here. And while these little compartments seem extremely small, they hold way more than you will ever need. And then on the front, I have them all labeled, so I know, okay, I want groundwork for matte from MAC. I know that if I open it, it's the 4th one from the left. So extremely small, compact, holds, this one holds, let's see, 24 different things. I know a lot of people will put lipsticks in this. Some people will put cream foundations in this. Like I said, they have a ton of different options to choose from, so I'll try to just link to that page somewhere. Another palette that I have is my lip palette. Now, I could easily use a Vusette for this, but I personally like the MAC palettes. This is the 24 pan as well, and this is my bridal palette. So this is the one that most people will choose from if they are a bride or in a bridal party, because they're more neutral, pinks, nudes, that kind of stuff. I obviously don't specifically use this only. I have many more options, but this is my most used for weddings. And again, I have all of the names, and I can easily just, you know, cut off a part of a bullet when I run out and smush it in there. I know someone will ask, I do not melt my lipsticks down in palettes like this. You see gorgeous pictures on Pinterest and Instagram of people who have done that. However, they only look gorgeous when they're not used. The first time you dip a spatula in there, which you should not be dipping your lip brush. If you dip a spatula in there, it will mess up anyways. And I find that heating the formula of lipsticks can sometimes compromise the efficiency and finish and formula overall. So I just choose to smush them down in there. I'm not trying to make it look pretty, I'm trying to make it work. So that's how I do that. All right, now real quick, a couple other things, and then I will be done because I know it's a long video. These containers from MAC are a must for me. They've helped me so much consolidate my kit and make this space easier and more efficient to work out of. They can be used for anything. A lot of people will use brushes. However, I have two, and one of them is for all of my cream shadow sticks that I keep upside down so I can see the actual names. And then another one is for my liners and brow pencils. So I will simply stick that onto a table. That way, whatever I use, say like this one, Teddy from MAC. If I use this one on someone, I stick it in the empty cups because I know it needs to be sanitized and sharpened before I use it on someone else. So when I set it up like this, it makes it very easy to set them apart, but also very easy to find versus trying to dig through a bag to find a specific color. So love those. They also have bigger ones as well. And then finally, little, what are these? I don't know, little containers. I have two versions of the little containers. These are actually a little bit bigger than I typically use. I'm just out of my smaller ones. I have these, so I'm using them. These are my lipstick containers. When I first got into makeup, like probably 4 years ago, I would give a full-size lipstick to my brides. I would have that kind of included in the price, so I wasn't out any money, but I've gotten so busy and it's just hard for me to do that. So I will do a touch-up container where I will scrape out a good amount of lipstick into this, whatever the lipstick they have chosen. I only do this for brides. It can just get too expensive for bridesmaids. And then give a few of the really skinny cotton buds for application, and I always hand that to the maid of honor. If they choose to buy like a touch-up kit, I have that as an option, but typically they'll use this or they will just ask what I used on them and they'll go buy it themselves, which is perfectly fine as well. But I will always carry at least 5 or 6 of these at a time in my Zuka backpack. And finally, this is kind of along the same lines as this as far as like the plastic twist-off container. But this, and isn't it funny, you can see what side it's been laying on. Everything has gone that way. This is one of those stackable bead containers you can get at Walmart. And I like to keep this for my moisturizers because it fits easily into my skincare bag, and I can depot some of the moisturizers, which some of them are just for one moisturizer is the size of half of this container. I just find it saves room. Right now I have got the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream on top. I have Glossier Priming Rich Moisturizer, Sonia Roselli Water Balm, and Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base are the 4 that I have in these right now. But when they're gone, I can either add more from the container if I still have some, or I can start using another product in its place. But I just find that stuff like this, the stackable, depotable type of containers are what is going to make your life super easy when you are working. So while I could go on and on and on and talk about thousands of other things, I am just going to stop right there because I think that's a great start on how to organize your kit and just some tips and tricks to stay more efficient throughout your day/job. Hopefully that helped some of y'all. I gave you some ideas as well. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.